Welcome back to the final part of these Justice League tutorials. Today we're going to be doing Cyborg. So let's begin. So to start off with, what we first want to do is we're just going to dot in the center of our page so we know where the middle is. Then we're just going to draw an oblong shape for the head. We're going to map out the body before we begin doing any detailing. So then we just want to start on with the shoulders. So they're going to come down in like a triangle shape, and then we'll add in 2 circles on either side for the shoulders. Do a line down the middle for the centre of the chest, and then a few more circles for where the arms are going to be, and then we're going to taper the middle torso off so he's got a big lats at the top, narrow waist, just like the rest of the superheroes. And then we've got our rough little guidelines, and we're going to start filling in the details then, starting with the eyes. So in order to start off on the eyes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ruler. I'm just going to draw a straight line across where the middle of the dot is, in the middle of the head. And then I'm going to add 5 more dots across the face so I can decide where I'm going to put the eyes. So just the camera messing up a little bit here. So if you just see, I've got equal gap between both eyes. So there's an equal gap on the left side, an equal gap on the right side, then your eye starts. And then there's an equal gap in the middle for where the nose bridge will be. And then I'm just going to draw a triangle upside down to meet the middle where the nose will be. And then I'm just going to pop a little circle there so we know where the nose goes down to. Right, so once we've finished with the nose, we're just going to make a start on the left eye. So in order to do that, we're just going to do a nice half oblong circle underneath, the line going through the middle, so we've got it equally in line. Little tear duct to the right hand side of the eye. And then up and then over for the top part of the eye. And it's going to overlap slightly on the left side. Then once we've done that, we're going to add in a eyelid, which is just going to go above the eye, and that's going to slightly overlap as well. So it's nice and thin on the top and gets wider on the left side. It's kind of like a shadow. We'll add a little corner in the tear duct. And then we'll make a start on the pupil. So the pupil is a half circle, maybe like a 3/4 circle, starting at the top. And then we can put in the little pupil. And I'm just going to roughly draw in where the eyebrow is going to sit, just so I can get my bearings of where everything else on the face goes. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of shade in here, just to help me find where the nose will sit. So I'll just do a half circle at the bottom of the nose. And then I'm going to line that up with the eye for the nostrils. So you see, we can't do both the eyes at the same time this time. Because as you know, Cyborg is half robot. So we'll be having a completely different eye on the right side. Right, so let's just detail that nostril in. So on the right side of the nostrils, pretty similar to the left. Now we're just going to have to guess this side of the nose. We'll bring the nostril out. It's quite a wide nose, similar on both sides. So we curve it under the nostril, make this right side a little thicker. So for the right side of the nostril, if you just follow it down from the dot in the middle of the nose, that'll give you a rough idea of where it needs to be. See, we've got them dots to mark the bridge of his nose out. I'm just going to add in a little bit of detail on the cheek. So we'll just crack on by adding some shadows here. We'll just shade in the eyebrow. Darken that up a little bit. And then we can thicken that up a little. We'll add in a little cheek at the bottom, some eyelashes on the eyelid. And then you just want to be in the middle of the nose, and that's where we're going to start adding in the robot side. So we're just going to do a circle in the forehead. And then just roughly about there, top of the right nostril, we're going to bring down the robot side to his cheek, so onto his cheekbone. So we just do it all the way from the middle. It's not a straight line, it has to be slightly curved so it looks 3D. And then we can add in the eye. Now we're just going to follow roughly where we had the eyes placed out, but we're going to do them a bit chunkier and thicker. And then just a big pupil in the middle because it's a red, like Terminator eye. And then we're just going to add in some shadowed eyelids around it. So as we do this, we're just going to follow the shapes. I'll shade that in a little bit so we know that needs darkening. And then I'm just going to do a straight line up to join to the circle. And just thicken that up. And then we're going to come out at the top of the circle with a diagonal line. And then continue the line straight above. Now we need to determine where the top of his forehead is, so we can get his hairline right. So his hair is roughly at this point. So we don't want his forehead too big. So we'll just roughly do this. Camera keeps dipping in and out. So not helpful. So this is like his side part of his hair, like his sideburns. Just give that another go. It's a bit thinner. So I'm just going to rub that bit out again. Try and do it again, make it look a bit better. So I think I want to bring it a bit closer to his eyebrow. So we just move it in a little bit more. And then his forehead just a little bit lower down. That looks a bit better. And then I just want to start doing the side of his head. So it's nice and narrow sideburn. Not too far from the eye. And then his side part of his hair. And then the top of the head wants to be nice and round. And meet up the middle line. So it's quite high up. As you can see, like top of his head, it's like he's looking down. So then we just want to start on the robot side. We're just going to draw another straight line at the side of it. And then another one at the side of that. So we've got two. That looks okay. I'm just going to put a little bit of shading in here. Help me get closer to some other shapes. So for me, you got like a little diagonal and then up, and this is a shorter one, doesn't go all the way to the top. Right, so I'm just going to move down now and try and do the little bit where the cheekbone is. So it's got a little kink in it before going on to the side part of the head. So if we just bring the top part of the eye down now, then add some more shapes on. So it's got like another rectangle going up and a rectangle to the side. But we want to follow the curve of the head down round. From the side of the eye, we're going to join. We don't want it too far from the side. So this gives it the 3D look. Trying to show different directions of the armour. Right, so now we're just going to make a start on the right side of the ear, which is a robotic ear. So we're just going to do it in a circle oblong, and then we're going to half that by putting a line through it to try and make it look side-on 3D. Then we're just going to add on the length of the head. So as you get 3/4 up, we're just going to add in another half circle sort of thing at the top, and then add in some dark shading for the details. It's like the little vents on the chips or something. Little air vents, we'll call them. And then we can make a start on the chin. So in order to find out the length of the chin, we're just going to put a little circle underneath the nose so we can get the distance for the lips. Right, so we're going to do another circle and some more. So I'm just going to try and bunch them together, try and get the overall shape of what the lips should be. And we're going to put the lips in line with the irises. So the middle of the eyeballs, straight down, we'll find the width of the lips. Camera's messing up again. Just bear with that. Right, so we've got the shape of the lips with lots of little circles. Just find it easier to do that and get a better overall shape. So now we just want to put a line through the middle. Do a nice thin line. You don't want to be a straight line, we want to dip it in the middle. And then we'll thicken that up when we get the top lip right. So the top lip has a little dip in the middle like most, and then comes down either side. So now we can make a start on the bottom lip. So it's always fattest at the bottom, in the middle, and then narrow to the sides. So we just bring them out. We're not going to bring them directly from the end of the lip. Bring them slightly just before the end. And we're just going to add in a little bit of a shadow for underneath the lip, and where his strap for the metal cyborg connection is. So I'm just going to thicken up his lip in the middle, and I'm going to add some texture on the bottom lip. Now I'm just going to do some light shading around the lip and the nose, just to try and make it look a bit more accurate. So then you've got like shadow going up. So you can leave it as a pencil drawing this, so I can go over it in black afterwards, which I'll be doing, but I'll do it as both. So there's a little bit of shadow here down the cheek, just goes by the lips, and this will help me find the chin. So here is a bit more shading, and then underneath that I can start to put in the strap at the bottom where the robotic connects at the bottom part. So it's like a unique shape, pointed edges, a bit like a hexagon or a pentagon. So we just put a line in the middle of that and straight across. And looks okay. So we've got the bottom part of his chin now, so we can start to join it on both sides. So we start with the right side first. We're just going to connect it to his cheek. So we'll go a straight line, and then it slightly curves in. And we'll double that up, make it thicker, bring that down, make his jaw more square, and add in some texture lines for different metal materials. And now we're going to extend his chin at the bottom so that it connects underneath. So just do like an upside down triangle. And then we'll make his way onto the left side of the chin. So this is the human side. So this side, again, it's kind of like a square jaw, but we don't want to go too far up because again, he's got metal strapped around it. So we're just going to do like steps on this left side. And then connect that again to the ear. I'm going to put that in line with the other ear. And to do the same principle, an oblong shape. Connect it, try and make it 3D. Then down into the strap, keeping that square look on the chin. So it just starts to curve in near the lips on both sides. And that looks okay. So we just connect this bit to the top of his head so it looks like it's all joined together. Might just make his hair a little rounder. The top of his hair a little rounder. And then I'll just extend the top part of his robotic side. So that's pretty much his head done. We can start to move on to his body, which will be just as tricky. Okay, so now we're going to make a start on the body. So we're going to start in the middle and do a little V down for his neck. We're going to do that quite low down. And then we're just going to do the same at either side, so 2 parallel lines. Then we're going to add a third line to the left side, and then maybe 1 or 2 more on the right side. So down. And these are like, they kind of look like pipes at the minute, but they're not going to be pipes. So that's like his neck. And then we've got to add in, so we just put that like a triangle, and we'll cap these off. So they're kind of like rectangles, or whatever that shape's called, that's sideways. Parallelogram or something, can't remember. So then we can make a start on the shoulders. So we've got the neck's base, a triangle on either side, that caps it off. Now we can start on the right side of the body. So this is just going to be a lot of shapes, trying to make it look 3D. So we'll be doing little triangles and trapeziums and little rectangles, all in different directions, to try and show its 3D look. So if you just watch, I'm going to try and do what I do to the right side on the left, more or less. I'm going to make little bits up to try and make it fit, because there's a lot going on. It's very difficult to see. So for easiest, I'll be doing what I can. So really, just on the neck part, I'm just going to do little square rectangle things, sort of like the flicking off. And then I'll just come back into the middle. I'm going to put a line down the middle and do some like V's in dark to make it look like it's going around his neck robotically. So then on the other ones, again, I'm just going to do some shading on either side. Try and keep it symmetrical. A bit more shading on the left side. And then I'll try and add some more details in. So I'm going to just go in with some triangles. And then a line through the middle. Do the same on this side. Do them different way. And then looks a little odd. Probably better to do them both same way. I'm going to do these ones curved. Same again, like a V, but rounded. So it's curved. And then I'll put a line through the middle of them. put a shading outside actually. And I'll do the same on this one. So I've got 2 extra on this side. So I'm just going to add in some more shapes. Try and help me make sense of this. So I'll darken that line. And then I'll curve these ones on this side. And then here, so I don't really know what to put here, so I'm just going to put a line through and put some random shapes in it. So now I need to do the same on this side of the triangle. And so just extend this on each side. I'll move on to the neck. So we've got 3 on either side. And then it's like a curved half square triangle. And then we just want to put lines close together on them to make them look 3D, like it's the edges. So working on the middle, 2 lines in toward the chest. And then it comes down again like a long V for the middle of the chest that's kind of like open where his light is. And then some more trapeziums, I think you'll have the shapes, on either side for the chest. I'm going to turn this one into 2 triangles actually. And then try and add some more little ones going in different directions across here. So I had some medium ones and some big ones. Now this one's kind of like the edge, so I'm kind of doing this. It's like the top part is pectoral, but obviously it's made out of robotic metal. So I do the little narrow edges to try and make it 3D. And then it's just really on the angle that you're putting them in. So just randomly make these bits up. So at this point I'm just going to be making the shapes up. I'm just going to cross them, make them squares, triangles, try and make some edges 3D. So I'll try and bulk them up. I'm going to just follow the shape of the body. So I'll make a start on his shoulder here. So his shoulder comes out, and then the shoulder on the other side. Similar on both sides. And then we're just going to work back on the chest, work his way over to the shoulder. So we can get some shapes. So we do some narrow ones, we do some triangles, and then make them 3D. So the same on both sides. Then I just connect this part to the shoulder. So again, I'm just making this roughly look similar. Bulk his shoulder up a little bit. Throw in some long rectangles. Just rub this bit out here and make it a little bit extended so it comes down further. See, I think we spent more time on the body than we did on the face, which it can be quite time consuming. Right, so we've got the pectorals looking decent. I can make a start on the middle of his chest. So I'm just going to throw some shapes out, triangles and trapeziums, upside down diamonds, triangles, rhombus, all sorts, just to make it fit in the direction I want it to go. So So as you can see, it's kind of rounded. I've done it at the bottom. And I'm just going to connect it further up. So this part here is where the lats are going to come in. So I'm just going to do this as one big shape to start with. I'm going to need to do this on both sides. So fill these shapes out on this side to get me closer to where his lat will be. And then I'm going to connect that to his arm. So we've got his shape coming in, nice and thick at the top, and it's going to go down to a narrow waist. So I'm just going to put some more shapes in now, make it look a bit detailed. So I can put like texture lines in. So I'm going to do them all in different directions to try and make it look realistic. And again, I'm just making it up, trying to put them in general direction. I'm going to shade little bits in to make it dark. So go for some longer triangles at this point. So you just put that in there. Same on this side, I'm just going to throw in a long triangle, one upside down, one facing, and then I'll cut them in half with lines going across. And then that will fill in this blank space. I'll just throw in some thicker lines, shading, because I can go over that with a biro at the end. So now we just go even narrower. I'm going to put some spokes in, so like tubes connecting him. And then there's some more tubes that go across. So we're just going to shade these in black with a pencil. So we had a few going down. These are all going to go underneath. But we'll just double this line for thickness. And we're going to do a number of them. First we'll just finish off up on the shoulder. Fill in some of these gaps. See, he's got some more like spokes coming out of the top right side of his arm. So it's sort of where his arm connects to his body. So the same on the left side of the arm. So they've got little tubes on both sides holding the arm together. So now I'm just going to, and then there's another one where his forearm is to connect. There's another pipe on there where his arm would bend. So we're going to leave a gap in the middle so it looks like a robot, a bit like a Terminator. Yeah, he's a cyborg after all. So same on the left side. Once what we've done to the right, we're going to do to the left. So similar shape for the top bicep, tricep sort of area. And then we're going to put in the spokes again, like little tubes, and put some texture lines across to make them look just like metal pipes. They're holding him together. Then we're going to put a little circular motor on his forearm. And then just filling in his forearm with some random shapes again. So just like diagonal squares and triangles. Just throwing random lines across. I'm just going to shade in some of that pipe. Now his arm goes into his lat. And then for the bottom part of his body, I'm just going to do sort of like zigzags. Because it's not straight. And this is like armour piled on top, just metal. And then we're going to add in some, I don't know what they're called, it's just like, sort of like his ribs, but metal, robotic ones. So we're just going to do a number of them going across with a little V in the middle. So we'll do about 4 or 5 of them all the way across. Because then when we've done that, we're going to put some more pipe work underneath him, going beneath it. So we'll do like a V line here. And then add more shapes in. So they're sort of just like patterns. So I'm just going to do them in and out diagonal try and follow around the body so it looks like it's going round him, so he looks like a 3D person. Otherwise, if we just do them all straight, it's just going to look 2D. So we'll just stick another one of these on. Starting to get there now. Not much to do. And we'll fit in as many as we can until the gaps are full. Right, so we're just going to add in the spokes at the back of this. So these go down the back, but I'm just going to draw them over the top anyway, because you can't really tell. I'm just going to fit in as many horizontal lines until the gaps are full. I say horizontal, but the more diagonal, I suppose. And then just keep adding a few more in. And just darken a few of these lines up on the outside of his body. And then we just need to finish off the shoulder blades on the left side. We'll start with. So I'm just going to put some shapes in, following the 3D effect of the muscle. Just going to shade in a little bits here. Make it darker on his neck. I'll do that on both sides. And then we can move back onto the arm. So this is quite dark and covered with shadows, but we'll do some more pipe work on his arm. Then fill in the gaps with some more shading here and there. And then I'm just going to put some more shapes in. Make them narrower, make them 3D by doubling up on the lines. I'm going to do that on the middle as well. I'm just going to double up on a few of the lines to make them up 3D. Just add them on a few of these ones. And then we can make a move on the right arm. So it's more or less his bicep area. And just add some details onto the pipe work of his forearm. So here I'm just filling some triangles and square shapes on his forearm. We're nearly there, just need to put a few more details on the right side of his arm. So we just want to try and make this curve round his arm, make it rounder. So we do that by making the shapes follow around his arm. I'm going to put a few more pipes in here, some shading. And that'll fill in some gaps. Add a few minor details here and there. And then here on the top part of his shoulder, I'm just going to fill in the blank space with some more shapes going round the top of his shoulder / trapezium area. Add a few more to the left side. And then all we need to do is add the little circle in the middle where his red beam is. And I think we're done, really. So that pretty much brings us to the end of our Justice League playlist. We've done all 6 main characters. So now, as always, I like to go over them in a black biro and thicken some of the lines up to make it look and stand out better. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. We may do some Marvel or Avengers next. We'll get a playlist going on them. So thanks for watching. See you next time.